So here's the Cannondale Bad Boy Ultra.
It does have the front shock. I'm not a fan of the front shock. Honestly, if I was to buy another road bike, I would buy it just no suspension whatsoever. Just one more thing you have to deal with. And I actually had issues with this head shock. Many other people have as well.
Yes, so now it comes time to tell you the story of the head shock.
Okay, Cannondale, we need to talk. I have owned Cannondale mountain bikes since I first started mountain biking in the early 80s. My original ones just had a front suspension, but I've had many Cannondales with head shocks, and since you've introduced the version with the rebound adjuster, they've been a lot less reliable than they used to be.
So this guy had the same problem I did. I didn't have a mountain bike. I actually had the Bad Boy Ultra, and honestly, I would always leave it on the lockout function. So at the top of the shock here, there's a little knob that you can either the rebound adjuster, which is the red piece at the top, like he had here, and then you have this big black lever here, and that turns on the shock and turns it off, a complete lockout. And about 2 years into owning my Bad Boy Ultra, the shock just totally gave out. It actually leaked some oil. And I thought that maybe I could just lock it out and continue using it. No, the lockout also stopped working when the shock started leaking. So I guess you have to have the oil in there. You have to have the shock in contact. It's not a mechanical mechanism. It's actually, there's some fluid involved. I'm not exactly sure. But the only way to fix my shock was to get a new, the internals, just replace all the internals in the shock. So this story started out with an easy solution, which is just get that shock repaired. So I went online and then I looked at bicycle shops. I called a few and I realized that there's only certain bicycle shops that sell and also can repair Cannondales, because you have to have some sort of contract with them to be part of their parts department, as well as there's a lot of specialty tools as well. So that led me to the Cannondale website, where you can find a dealer near you. Now, a lot of the dealers on this map here in the Bay Area where I live are just REIs. So REI does have a contract with them, but REI does not work on them. So I had to find an actual shop, and I'm in this area over here. And so I had to go either 20 miles south or 20 miles north. So I found a place in Oakland that actually is out of business now, and that kind of tells you what is the next part of the story, which is I go to this place, Wheels of Justice, and they were still in business back then. And I drop off my Cannondale, they write me a receipt, what they're going to do, the internals they're going to order. And about a week later, I was like, hey, I'd never heard from you guys, what's up? And like, oh, there's something going on with shipment with the shock. And I think I know now that they were just lying to me. They were trying to buy time. But I guess what happened is they didn't pay some of their bills. They had some financial issues, so Cannondale cut them off as far as giving them parts. So eventually they told me, they're like, you know what, Cannondale's not selling us parts anymore. We're losing our dealership. We're in an argument with them. So I wasted a trip over there, 2 weeks without working on the bike, where I couldn't run the bike, and that was it. They did make good with me. We can give you a free bicycle service. So I gave them my other bicycle and let them do a complete service on it, where they aligned my wheels and cleaned everything up. So then I called Cannondale. I'm like, okay guys, I want to get this bicycle repaired. Where can I go? And they recommended that I go to Noe Valley Cyclery. And it's much farther than I want to go, but they were by far the cheapest, and they had a good standing with Cannondale. So I go there, and the mechanic there, he's also the owner, Larry. He worked on the bike, he got it working, I got the bike back, but it only worked for about a month. And then the same issue happened where the lockout was having issues. So this time I was like, you know what, let's send this shock to Cannondale. You know, send it to the East Coast, let them fix it. I don't want to have to deal with this anymore. But Cannondale did some magic with it, I guess. I finally got it back, but it ended up taking 2 months from when I initially had the problem to going to 2 different shops, to all the shipping involved, to getting it back on the bicycle. It took over 2 months. It just shows that, like, Cannondale, come on, get this together. There's many people with this problem. Get it fixed. I'm hoping that this is fixed on mine now. It's been a couple years now, and I haven't had an issue. So good on them for fixing that, but it shouldn't. If they knew this was an issue, why did I have to go and get this all fixed on my own? I'm really hoping that it stays fixed for a long time, and we'll see what happens. I think now, if you look at the head shock, it's in a total different design now. And I think they learned from this design, but at the same time, there's a lot of these bikes out there with this older design on it. So keep that in mind when you're buying a used one, that these head shocks, the ones that look like the single head shock with the red rebound, they do have issues. So be forewarned. And Cannondale, this was not a good choice on your part. I hope you like this video. If you could, like and subscribe, and I'll be making some more videos, and I'll see you guys next time.